Blacklist would win when this match started, but now I really like EVOS' draft here. I kind of hope that it comes out on top because I just think it's really solid overall. And Blacklist with this joy is gonna put MP under a lot of pressure, but it could go either way here. This is now a best of one to decide whether it is Blacklist or EVOS that moves on into the LCQ. Loser goes home. Let's find out who comes out on top.
All right, MP going to be starting on his orange buff, and on the opposite side, EVOS going to do exactly the same. And at this point, contesting for Lethal Wanderer is going to be a little dangerous here. Prexiva's going to have a slight advantage with this early game power, but let's not forget, Veldora is on this side of the map.
Look at how much damage Prexiva takes instantly. Veldora going for the concussive blast instead of Brave Smite here, so acting as that secondary tank. And I did notice Nikki went for Petrify Sun, so he fully intends to lean into the late game one-shot playstyle.
He's a dirty little boy. He's a dirty little boy this time, trying to cheese out his opponents. I do want to see how it's going to play out. He is taking common emblems, and he's taking tenacity as well as hybrid defense. It does some pretty decent poke overall, and that's all he really wants to. He wants to be able to have a decent laning phase while still being able to scale. I am curious to see whether or not EVOS Esports are going to play a more split push heavy style of play, because again, in these team fights, I don't think Nikki's going to get much value.
Well, engages with the Blade Surge, but Blacklist has more burst right now, and MP runs straight into the tower, picks up the first blood and the double kill on EVOS before the 2-minute mark.
What was the plan? They knew that Blacklist was rotating off from the top side of the map? Alright. I mean, if Tommy dies here as well, this is just going to be extremely sad, but they've lost so much space for that. This first turtle pretty much uncontestable at this point of time. Let's see whether or not Veldora is going to look for the engage. He probably won't. He's going to just, keep track of what's going on. And
never mind, he is engaging. Vengeance comes out, already dropping Haji to half HP. MP gets the turtle, but Veldora is just too far away from the rest of EVOS. They cannot back him up, and he goes down the Blacklist.
Is nobody counting the timing? Is nobody... I mean, I feel like Annabelle is calling like, hey, we can contest for this. He's already moving towards his purple buff and will, sacrifice actually taking it straight away to run over to Turtle's side of the map, but he needs to give a countdown at least to kind of work with Veldora to have a better timing of the engagement. If they're too late and they've taken away that Turtle, then sure, you can start backing off, go back to your buffs, go back to your lanes, nobody loses tempo at least.
Yeah, we've seen in the past that EVOS Esports gets messy under pressure. And I think we're already starting to see the first signs of that. They definitely are lacking a bit of the momentum since they lost game number 2. And they're feeling the pressure, already losing lane priority in almost every part of the map. We're only 3 minutes in and Blacklist already has a 2k net worth lead.
Yeah, pretty fat lead for them, 3-0 into the matchup. I mean, for Nikki, it's a pretty dead lane for him. He's just going to be chilling for the most part of it. Every other lane, though, however, Clockhood and as well as Tawny do not have much control over this mid. And it's surprising that they don't. But this is just the beauty of Khalid, right? Able to kind of, forcefully, even if Haji is a little slow on that wave clear, doesn't matter. Prexiva can cut the majority of that wave for him to really speed up that rotational process.
Yeah, this is what was missing from Blacklist's Khalid in game number 1. I'm kind of shocked that there's such a big difference in how active he is being on the map right now. And this is how you really push that advantage forward. They are not allowing EVOS to control the riverside. Yes?
Nikki? Where's Nikki? What is happening to him? What was going on there for a second? Man's walking into walls. If he needs to call for a technical pause, I really hope he calls it before he loses more gold or EXP. But now for the very first turtle, next turtle of the map. Let's see how they're going to play it out.
MP already on it. Oh, implosion on 1. Prexiva focus specifically. Nikki jumps in. Veldora gets the kill. MP still gets the turtle though. Artillery M comes out, but Haji's in the backline as the beast. And that's gonna be a double kill for Outplayed, as well as another 3 members of EVOS picked off in quick succession. And Blacklist gets the turtle as well.
Very free for them. Nikki? Is he going to try and do something a little wild, a little crazy here? Let's get a little bit of damage, but losing this mid-tier 1, It's so good for Blacklist International, right? At this point, based off of what we saw in game number 2, they like holding that momentum. They like holding that tempo as well, and they play very well around it. Nikki in a lot of trouble, able to dodge a large majority of the damage at least, but even so, EVOS Esports is forced to stick as 5 now, losing a lot of pressure everywhere else on the map.
We already knew with the draft that EVOS is the better composition for sticking as 5, but the fact that they've been forced to do it so early is not ideal. Oh, 3-man implosion! Veldora comes in and knocks them all into Raging Sandstorm. Perxiva trying to distract them away. Despite everything, JM and Hachi are both still alive and healthy. And now JM is in the back line, forcing out Clockhood, dropping him to 10%. Veldora has to escape as well. They finally finish him off, but that is way less than they were expecting to get.
Yep, I think even for EVOS, they don't mind the fact that they were able to get 1, sure, but then let's see what the conversion is for Blacklist International. They know that Veldora doesn't have his ult, they know that Clockhood doesn't have his ult, they could do something with that information, but unfortunately, they go for the full reset here, they check the jungle, realize that everything has been taken at this point of time, they don't find much back.
Yeah, that was like such a huge catch for EVOS Esports. It was the perfect combo. But Annabelle was not there, the most important piece of the puzzle, their early game burst. So Blacklist was just able to walk out of it for free and continue snowballing their gold lead. Things are not looking good right now. We can see that EVO is not even gonna try and contest the turtle because they know they just do not have control over the map right now. I think that was Implosion used up top. Yup, Sacred Hammer on JM. He is being surrounded 1v4. MP knocked off on 3 members into the Raging Sandstorm. And now the Salmon Force comes out outplayed with the killing spree. Punishing Veldora, getting a trade back for his fallen comrade. And even Nikki being chased away.
Oh my goodness. JM Pinkman, before he goes down, he goes out with a bang. He chunks him hella hard before the rest of the team comes by to sweep that fight up. Even so, Blacklist International, a very clean 5k goal lead. I'm thinking that this game is pretty doomed right now. Annabelle getting his second item is great, but MP has a Holy Crystal, so the timings are just way off for them.
Yeah, by now, with the lineup they have, I would have expected EVOS Esports to be the ones in control. Like, their mid-game team fighting should be so good. But Blacklist took advantage of that and went for an unexpected early game aggression. Just rotating all over to stop them before their snowball even begins. Veldora using Unleash the Beast just to defend the tier 2. This is how much pressure Blacklist is putting on them.
Can't do much about it. Can't do much at all. You just have to take it. They're waiting for that big catch again, and I think the most ideal one is if they can somehow sneak Haji in. Haji and Outplayed ideally, but both of them have Purifies. It feels very unlikely that they'll make that mistake, and we've noticed that MP doesn't show himself very often.
Oh, Annabelle might be dead here, just barely surviving. Able to dash out. Perxiva gonna be stopped by Veldora as well. That's very important. EVOS cannot afford to lose any more bodies here. At this stage, this Harif is a massive problem.
They have no means of catching him as well. That's a big issue. Oh, unless...
A play commits the Salmon Force, targets the doppelganger, unlucky. Nikki still running away. The rest of Blacklist coming in to back him up, petrified to stop MP. Not for long though, killing spree for the joy as the monkey gets taken out.
Alright. Interesting. EVOS Esports, they're unsure of what their next steps need to be. I feel like they're just playing too reactive right now, right? Oh, they realize that Outplay could be by himself. Realize even though that 75% of the map is basically dark for them, with no information to play off of, and even if it's not like MP who shows up or Perxiva with Haji, that would have been enough of an issue. Even if JM Pinkman showed up, they would have been having a bit of a struggle to fight.
And they just don't have enough damage right now. They're so behind on itemization. Outplayed has Holy Crystal before the 10-minute mark. That's how you know this is a huge problem for EVOS. I'm pretty sure Nikki not even close to that 3rd item yet. And already they have to play so defensively. This is a lineup that should be able to control the map. Should be able to control team fights so well. And Blacklist has just stopped them from being able to play it at all.
Yep, and again, this just goes to show how important priority is in a lane. With lane priority, your team can do a lot of things a lot faster than your opponents. You are able to make that first impact before your opponent can respond. Blacklist International seem to be doing a lot more with their priority in comparison to EVOS, unfortunately.
Already rotating up top. Raging Sandstorm doesn't even let Tawny use Implosion. Looks like he had no interest in doing so. Nicky trying to defend tier 2 mid all by himself, but outplayed in the backline. Look at the damage. Not even Veldora able to stand up to him.
Yeah, it's pretty unwinnable right now. It's pretty unwinnable. The shielding will go down on the mid lane, but at least they can just start... Honestly, they can start sieging the bottom side of the map as quick as possible. They need to at least get one inhibitor off of this.
Ooh! JM Pinkman following up on the Veldora kill. Implosion completely whiffs as Haji just takes him out. All 5 members of Blacklist, they have their eyes on the prize right now. RWM comes out, tries to control them, but there's just no damage. There is no threat. Perxiva takes out Clockun in the backline and still buys space because he heals up more damage than Annabelle and Nicky can do together.
Yep, and at this point, second waves are going to be coming through. Veldora is going to get back up. Does he have... He died pretty early on. I wasn't sure how much of his ult charge is still available. It should be pretty high. Yeah, it's pretty high. A couple of engagements, at least the first flash step should be enough to get him back up to transform again. But that just means that EVOS Esports is at full fighting force, and Blacklist International with a single inhibitor on the long lane as well for when the Lord is spawning in 45 seconds. I think this is a checkmate angle.
MP is at 10k personal net worth with Wishing Lantern, Holy Crystal, and Blood Wings. 3 very expensive items completed before the 12-minute mark. There is a 10k gold difference between Blacklist and EVOS, and we can see that even their cores have only just hit their 3rd item. It is as GG as it could possibly be right now, and even if EVOS somehow get the miracle 5-man implosion into the full combo, I actually don't think they can end the game with it.
No, they can't. But they just don't have enough damage. Honestly, like, if we're talking about a 5-man implosion, that means there's got to be some significant AoE. Annabelle, sure, maybe if he's at like max war stacks, goes in, blade surges, does the full combination. I still don't think it's enough because Clockun just doesn't have his 2nd or even 3rd item. Maybe with a Wishing Lantern, possibly. Divine Glaive would be kind of nice here. But now they're looking for the initial catch-up. Pinkman.
Implosion into Veldora. Nicky's coming in. RWM as well. Can they at least finish off Phobius? Yes, they will. But the rest of their team is now being dismantled as the Zaman Force just denies Clockun any attempt at escape. Nicky able to recall out. Connie buying some time. Veldora being electrifying, beat down by MP. Blade Surge going to miss, and now Annabelle in some trouble as well. But MP will decide to back off just a little bit here. 3 members of EVO is just taken out in quick succession.
All for Mr. Pinkman, making sure that this is trying to keep this.
Oh, look at outplayed.
Nah, he's too strong. I mean, they're all too strong. With the 10k gold lead, it's really difficult to lose the game from this point. You are just stat checking everybody.
Nicky, even his damage is not really able to pet them Haji of all people.
Oh.
Look at Raging Sandstorm. Actually, really nice dodge by Nicky, but doesn't have much left. Zaman Force almost takes him out, and even Clockun is collateral nearly. Blacklist are just so far ahead. Now Lord is pushing in bottom. All the inhibitors are going to fall instantly here. Nicky just barely defending the top one. Even if Tawny is able to find that implosion, like you mentioned, Gideon, they just don't have the damage. Annabelle finally has the BOD, but I still don't think it's enough.
Yeah, but however, this is dragging on longer than it probably should, right? They found those initial picks, but they haven't been able to actually close the distance again on this crystal. Well, here we go, Perxiva looking for something.
Yep, Conceal used, not committing his ult yet, just zoning Evos away so that Outplay can get a free inhibitor. And Blacklist back out after that.
Taking it slow and steady. I think that EVOS might be able to hold out on this one. Their high ground seems to be doing okay, and honestly, Nicky on this Sun, if he had more items, would be a legitimate threat because he has been dodging some key abilities with his own ult as well. In the meantime, it's still 14-5. It's still a pretty doomed scenario overall because of the way that they scale. And so, EVOS Esports, let's see how they're going to hold this out, because eventually they're going to need the Sun to individually push out of his lane.
Yeah, Nicky has a lot of pressure on his shoulders specifically right now, because without him, the rest of EVOS just don't really do enough burst to remove problems like MP and Outplayed. And especially with a 13k deficit, Blacklist are still sitting very comfortably. Tawny trying to escort Nicky, giving him vision so that he's able to recall in time. Veldora is there as well. Looks like Blacklist will not overcommit to this, so the Sun is able to back up safely.
Yeah, and Blacklist International are fully aware of what EVOS Esports is trying to do to try and kind of pull their attention away. And I think that Blacklist International, at this point, yes, they could try and stop EVOS Esports from pushing out to getting more gold, but inevitably, it's really hard to catch Nicky by himself in the first place. They gotta play for their objectives, look to close the game the traditional way with the power of the Lord. Yes, EVOS Esports' high ground is pretty decent, but if they can bait this fight here, they can do so much damage.
4 members of EVOS in the top jungle, Nicky at the bottom. Sacred Hammer used defensively as Perxiva alone is enough to zone multiple members. Even Outplayed is willing to walk into the push. Zaman Force drop down, they're targeting Veldora. Vengeance use, Implosion only catches one. Great dodge by Outplayed. And the RLM comes in and 3 in the back line. 2-man Raging Dash for Flicker! EVOS is completely locked down! And now Nicky is the only one left standing! JM will be assigned to make sure he cannot go home because EVOS are about to send them there themselves. Blacklist International in full control. They're just gonna recall spam in front of the base. They know it is over. And even MP getting the godlike at the very end. Blacklist International take the victory and move on to the last chance qualifiers.